listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you will sound impossible to the logical mind. It will sound too simple, too effortless, too beyond the grasp of ordinary thought. But that is exactly why it works. You've been taught that you must strive, struggle, chase, and labor. That abundance comes through sweat, worry, and endless effort. But I am here to pull that lie out from the roots, because the truth is far more radical. The truth is this: money flows not from what you do, but from what you are. And what you are is already wealthy, already radiant, already magnetic. You do not need to prove it. You do not need to force it. You only need to remember. Close your eyes for a moment and feel this. The very air you breathe costs you nothing. It comes to you without demand, without struggle, without effort. The universe has never once withheld your next breath. And if the breath comes so easily, so faithfully, why should money be any different? Money is breath in another form. It is life energy translated into paper, into coins, into numbers on a screen. But at its core, it is movement, circulation, flow. And flow cannot be forced. Flow can only be received. You have tried to dam the river with worry. You have tried to bend its direction with fear. You have shouted at it with desperation. Come to me! I need you! I'll do anything. And in that shouting, you forgot the secret water never rushes to the desperate. It flows to the still. It flows to the open. It flows to the silent. Say nothing. Do nothing. Be still and watch. For in your stillness, a great reversal begins. The vibration of lack, that restless, anxious current, begins to dissolve. And in its place rises a calm, unshakable knowing. I am already supplied. I am already chosen. I am already wealthy. Understand this: wealth does not come because you chase it. It comes because you finally stand still long enough to let it recognize you. It comes because you remember who you are. A child of the infinite, heir to a boundless kingdom. Imagine a magnet buried deep within your being. It has been covered by layers of doubt, fear, guilt, and old beliefs. But as you release effort, as you say nothing and do nothing, those layers fall away. And the magnet begins to hum, to vibrate, to call. Suddenly, the flow that seemed so far away bends toward you. Opportunities you never asked for find you. Checks appear in the mail. People who owe you remember their debts. Ideas rise in your mind like sparks of gold. Not because you forced, not because you chased, but because you aligned. This is the paradox the world hides from you. The more you strive, the further wealth runs. But the moment you rest in your authority, the moment you stand still in your knowing, money cannot help but find its way home to you. And let me tell you, it longs to come home. Money longs to be with the one who sees it not as master, not as enemy, but as friend. Money longs to be with the one who knows it is simply energy, simply flow, simply the breath of God made visible. So I declare to you now, you are that one. You are that vessel. You are that chosen channel through which the flow will rush, the river will pour, the abundance will flood. Say these words quietly in your spirit: I do nothing, and yet everything comes. I say nothing, and yet wealth answers. I stand still, and the river of money flows to me. Feel it. Taste it. Let it saturate every cell of your being. Do you feel the shift? That release in your chest, that softening in your mind, that hum in your heart? That is the signal. That is the alignment. That is the doorway opening. And when the doorway opens, all the striving of years cannot compare to the speed with which money flows to you now. Stay with me, because in the next breath, I will reveal the hidden word, the silent command, that unlocks this flow completely. There is a secret place within you that the world has overlooked, a place that requires no struggle, no loud declarations, no endless striving, and yet it holds the key to everything you desire. In that stillness, you discover the ancient rhythm that money understands, a rhythm not of chaos or panic, but of calm receptivity. When you step into that stillness, you align yourself with the very heartbeat of the universe, and suddenly the flow you have been chasing begins to recognize you. You have been taught to run faster, to work harder, to speak louder in the hope that money would notice. But the truth is, money is drawn to quiet power, not frantic energy. Just as a flame draws moths in the night without chasing them, stillness draws wealth to your life without you needing to force a single step. Think about the ocean. It does not push, it does not strain, and yet the tides move with perfect consistency, rising and falling in harmony with unseen forces. In that same way, your stillness becomes a tide that pulls opportunities, resources, and blessings toward you. The more you thrash and splash in fear, the more the waters seem chaotic, but when you rest, when you let yourself float, the current carries you exactly where you need to go. This is the nature of true wealth. It is not a mountain to climb, but a river that carries you effortlessly when you release control. The power of stillness is that it removes the friction, the inner resistance that has blocked the flow for so long. Most people think they need to fight for abundance. They wake up with anxiety, rush through their days, and carry in their minds an endless stream of how, and when, and what if. And all that noise drowns out the subtle whisper of provision that is already speaking. Stillness clears the static. It turns down the volume of fear so you can hear the frequency of abundance humming within and around you. In stillness, you realize that the supply has always been here, patiently waiting for you to stop running and start receiving. Money loves clarity. Money loves peace. Money moves toward the vessel that is open and calm, not the one that is restless and doubtful. There is a sacred authority in those who have mastered stillness. They do not beg for wealth, they do not cling, and yet money finds them, because their energy communicates confidence. It is not the confidence of arrogance, but the confidence of alignment, the knowing that they are one with the source of all supply. When you become still, your energy shifts from desperation to certainty, and certainty is irresistible to abundance. Like iron drawn to a magnet, resources rearrange themselves in your favor because you have ceased pushing them away with frantic vibrations. What once felt out of reach suddenly feels natural, almost inevitable, because you have stepped into the space where receiving is effortless. Stillness is not weakness, it is the deepest strength. A mountain does not move to prove its power, yet it shapes the wind and the weather around it. In the same way, when you are still, you are unshakable. You become the center around which money orbits, not because you chase it, but because you embody stability. Wealth is energy, and energy seeks balance. The scattered mind repels it, but the calm mind becomes its sanctuary. By being still, you anchor abundance. You tell the universe without words, I am ready. I am receptive. I am already in possession of all I seek. There is also a mystery in silence. Words can sometimes dilute power, but silence intensifies it. When you stop speaking fear, stop declaring lack, stop rehearsing the story of struggle, you create space for a new vibration to rise. That vibration is the quiet hum of sufficiency, the subtle song of plenty. Money responds not to desperate words but to the invisible vibration that stillness produces. It hears the unspoken truth within you: I am already enough, and therefore more will come. In that quiet declaration, the doors of provision swing wide open. Imagine yourself as a lake on a windless day. The surface is smooth, reflective, undisturbed. In that still surface, everything above is mirrored perfectly. That is what stillness does for you. It reflects divine abundance without distortion. The more you agitate, the more ripples and waves blur the reflection. But when you are still, you mirror heaven itself, and heaven's wealth rushes to meet its own image within you. The clearer your reflection, the quicker the manifestation. Money flows to the one who mirrors its true essence: circulation, ease, and beauty. You have been conditioned to think action is the answer, that if you do not push, nothing will come. Yet action without alignment is empty movement. Stillness aligns you first, and then action, when it arises, is inspired, precise, and effortless. From stillness comes clarity, and from clarity comes the exact step that unlocks more than years of struggling could achieve. This is why stillness is not about laziness or passivity, but about choosing the highest vibration from which true wealth can be born. It is the fertile soil where the seeds of abundance sprout naturally, without toil, without strain, without resistance. The power of stillness is that it places you in the center of the flow instead of chasing the edges. It teaches you to stop searching outward and to begin resting inward. In that rest, you discover the current that has been carrying you all along, a current that knows the way to overflow far better than your anxious plans ever could. Money is not paper, not metal, not numbers flashing on a screen, though the world would have you believe that is all it is. Money is movement. It is energy condensed into form, a visible echo of the invisible current that runs through all of life. Just as electricity lights the night when it passes through a bulb, energy lights your life when it passes through the channels of money. To see money as merely material is to strip it of its power. To understand it as energy is to unlock the secret of why it flows, why it pauses, why it multiplies, and why it sometimes seems absent. It is never truly gone, only redirected, waiting for the next open vessel ready to receive it. Consider how air moves without ceasing. You cannot hold it in your hands, but you trust it with every breath. In the same way, money as energy cannot be grasped through force, but it can be trusted as part of a universal cycle. You inhale, and the air comes. You exhale, and it leaves, only to return again. Money behaves in this same rhythm of circulation. When you cling to it in fear, the flow slows, for energy cannot be trapped. When you release with confidence, it circles back multiplied, because what is freely allowed to move always returns stronger. Money is not about possession, it is about participation in the eternal dance of giving and receiving. Think about a stream running through the forest. The water does not question whether more will come, it flows because flow is its nature. You never see the river beg for rain, yet it is replenished. You never see the tree panic about sunlight, yet it receives it daily. So too does money arrive for the one who understands its nature as energy. The anxious heart interrupts the cycle, placing a dam across the current with fear, with doubt, with unworthiness. But the open heart becomes a channel, a wide riverbed through which the energy of money rushes without obstruction. The stream does not belong to the riverbed, but it blesses it by flowing through. Likewise, money does not belong to you, yet it honors you by flowing through your life when you are aligned with its energy. When you look at money as a limited resource, you shrink yourself into scarcity. You see only numbers dwindling on a balance sheet, only coins slipping through fingers, only bills vanishing from a wallet. But when you recognize money as energy, you realize it is infinite, it is alive, it is connected to the same source that feeds the stars, paints the skies, and nourishes the earth. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed, and so it is with wealth. What leaves your hand is not lost, it simply shifts shape, moves forward, expands, and finds its way back in forms greater than what departed. Energy seeks circulation because stagnation is against its nature. The more you honor that circulation, the more abundant your life becomes. Money as energy also responds to vibration. Just as a tuning fork hums when struck near another vibrating at the same pitch, your inner state calls money according to its frequency. Fear calls lack, gratitude calls increase. Worry repels, faith attracts. It is not about forcing money to come, it is about vibrating in harmony with its essence: flow, freedom, expansion. The wealth you desire is already swirling in the unseen, waiting for you to rise into its frequency. That rise does not require endless labor but an inner shift. You do not chase energy, you tune into it. You do not demand energy, you align with it. When you tune yourself to gratitude, joy, and trust, money rushes to you because you are resonating at the same pitch as its flow. Picture the sun pouring its rays on both the rich and the poor, the worthy and the unworthy. It does not discriminate, it only shines. Energy is the same. Money is not moral, not biased, not withholding. It flows to the ones who are open, just as sunlight enters any window unblocked by curtains. Many sit in darkness, blaming the sun, yet they have closed the shutters themselves with beliefs of lack, fear of judgment, and feelings of undeserving. To see money as energy is to realize that the sun has never stopped shining. All that is needed is to open the shutters of belief, and the light floods in. When you exchange money, you are not losing, you are participating in circulation. You give, and the energy shifts form, moving through someone else's hands, carrying with it the potential to circle back multiplied. When you withhold out of fear, you block the cycle, and the same energy that could have multiplied stagnates. Trust that giving keeps the river alive. Trust that receiving is not taking from others but allowing the circulation to bless you as well. Money is not about gain and loss, it is about flow and return. Like the inhale and exhale, both are necessary for life, and both are sacred. Once you accept money as energy, you no longer fear its absence. Just as you never panic that the tide has gone out, for you know it will rise again, you cease to panic when money leaves. You know it will circle back, for flow is its very essence. This knowledge calms the heart, quiets the mind, and strengthens the spirit, making you a clearer vessel for more. The anxious hand clutches, the aligned hand opens. And energy, always seeking openness, chooses the vessel that is willing to let it move, expand, and multiply without resistance. There is a strange paradox that governs the flow of wealth, a mystery so simple that most overlook it. The harder you chase money, the faster it runs. The more you strain to catch it, the further it drifts from your grasp. Yet the moment you release the chase, the moment you step back and allow, it comes to you with a swiftness that feels almost supernatural. This is the paradox of effort, the hidden law that the world of striving never teaches you. You have been conditioned to believe that abundance is the reward for endless toil, that success comes only to the ones who grind without rest, that money belongs to the restless. And yet, the ones who seem to receive it with ease are rarely the ones running the hardest. They are the ones who have mastered alignment over effort. Effort without alignment is like rowing against the current of a mighty river. You can strain with all your might, burn your muscles with exhaustion, and yet remain stuck in one place. But when you release the oars and let the current carry you, the river does the work. This is how money moves. It does not reward your panic. It does not honor your frenzy. It responds to the one who understands the current, who knows that the universe has a rhythm, a timing, a flow, and that moving in harmony with it is far more powerful than any force of will. The paradox of effort is that it blinds you to this rhythm, because, in your striving, you cannot hear the gentle call of guidance that is already showing you the path of least resistance. You have seen this paradox in nature. A tree does not strain to grow. It does not push its roots with anxiety, does not command its leaves to sprout with worry. It rests in its essence, rooted, steady, and because of this, growth is inevitable. The ocean does not struggle to bring in the tide. It does not labor to pull back the waves. It flows in cycles, trusting the moon's unseen pull, and nothing interrupts its rhythm. Effort is not the secret, alignment is. You are meant to be like the tree, like the ocean, expanding and receiving through trust, not through force. When you replace desperate effort with calm knowing, money comes as naturally as breath. The paradox reveals itself most when you let go of control. Think of the moments in your life when provision showed up out of nowhere. A debt forgiven, a gift received, an opportunity that came without warning. These were not the results of your endless striving, but of your openness. They came when you released the tension long enough for life to surprise you. Effort can build walls as quickly as it builds bridges, and when those walls are built from worry and control, they block the very abundance you are chasing. But surrender dissolves the walls. It opens the gate, and money rushes in because it recognizes freedom, not force. Striving is born from lack. It whispers, "I do not have enough, therefore I must struggle." And from that belief, every action becomes heavy, frantic, desperate. But alignment is born from truth. I am already supplied, therefore money flows to confirm what I already am. From that belief, every action becomes light, inspired, effortless. Effort is not evil, but effort without alignment is empty, draining, fruitless. The paradox teaches you that doing more is not the way. Being aligned is the way. And from alignment, even the smallest action produces a harvest greater than years of forced labor. This is why the wealthy often appear to work less yet receive more. They are not necessarily stronger or smarter, they are aligned. They operate from faith in the flow, from a trust that money is energy responding to vibration, not a prize to be won through exhaustion. When you chase, you affirm its absence. When you align, you affirm its presence. And energy always responds to affirmation. If you say by your striving, "It is not here yet," then lack multiplies. But if you rest in alignment and declare by your stillness, "It is already mine," then abundance multiplies. The paradox is clear: effort declares separation, alignment declares union. Imagine holding sand tightly in your fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But if you open your hand and allow it to rest in your palm, it stays with ease. Money behaves the same way. The anxious grasping pushes it away, while the relaxed openness allows it to remain and even grow. You cannot clutch energy. You can only flow with it. And this is why those who trust, those who let go, those who rest in the knowing of their worth, always seem to have more flow to them. They are not slaves to effort. They are masters of alignment. The paradox of effort does not mean you never act, but that your action is no longer driven by fear. It becomes inspired, precise, effective. A single inspired step from alignment produces results that years of forced steps from lack never could. This is why some ideas turn into fortunes overnight while others fade despite relentless labor. The idea born from alignment carries the vibration of abundance itself, and so it attracts abundance with ease. The effort-born idea carries the vibration of lack, and so it struggles endlessly to find support. The difference is invisible to the eye, but undeniable in the outcome. To live by this paradox is to stop worshipping struggle as proof of worth. It is to understand that ease is not laziness, but divine order. It is to realize that the universe was not built on strain, but on harmony. The stars do not fight to shine, and yet their brilliance lights galaxies. The rivers do not force themselves to flow, and yet they carve valleys and nourish lands. Money, too, does not come through force, but through harmony with its essence. And harmony is found when you step out of the frenzy of endless effort and step into the calm rhythm of alignment. There is a moment when you realize that wealth is not something you chase, not something you achieve, not even something you earn in the way the world has told you. Wealth is an identity, a recognition of what you already are. The moment you stop treating money as something outside of you and begin to see yourself as the embodiment of abundance, everything changes. The identity of wealth is not about the numbers in your account, but about the truth you hold within your spirit. It is the awareness that you are not separate from supply, that you and the source of all provision are one, that you were never lacking to begin with. To wear the identity of wealth is to walk through the world with the certainty that abundance is your natural state, as natural as breathing, as effortless as the rising of the sun. When you see yourself as wealthy, you shift the vibration you send into the universe. The poor mind says, "I will be wealthy one day." The abundant mind says, "I am wealthy now," and money only comes to confirm it. The first pushes wealth away into the future, the second anchors it in the present. Identity speaks louder than desire. You may desire money with all your heart, but if your identity is still rooted in lack, that desire becomes a chase that never ends. Yet when your identity is wealth, money is simply drawn to you because it is recognizing itself. Energy always seeks resonance. Wealth cannot resist a soul that already carries its signature. The world has conditioned you to believe wealth is a title given to a chosen few, something to strive for, something measured in comparison to others. But true wealth is not measured against anyone. It is not bound by competition or scarcity. It is an inner recognition that abundance is infinite and therefore always available. When you adopt the identity of wealth, you stop competing. You stop comparing. You stop living from the story that says, "There is not enough." Instead, you live from the truth. "I am enough, and because I am enough, my life overflows." The external must always bow to the internal. When you embody wealth, your outer world has no choice but to reflect it. Think of a king or queen. They do not question whether they are royalty. They do not wake each day wondering if their throne belongs to them. They simply walk in the knowing of who they are, and the world responds accordingly. Wealth works the same way. When you wear the identity of wealth, you do not beg, you do not chase, you do not doubt. You know. And that knowing speaks louder than any action you could take. It shifts the atmosphere around you, and suddenly opportunities align, doors open. People are drawn, because they feel the energy of wealth in your presence. There is power in recognizing that wealth begins as being, not doing. Many chase after wealth through endless activity, believing that their worthiness is proven by their labor. But when your being is wealth, your doing becomes effortless, inspired, guided. You no longer act from fear of not having enough. You act from the overflow of knowing you already have more than enough. This is why some people can do little yet receive much, while others can do much yet receive little. It is not about the action alone, but the identity behind it. A wealthy identity transforms even the smallest action into a magnet for abundance. You can begin to embody the identity of wealth by speaking from it, walking in it, imagining yourself already there. Every time you declare, "I am wealthy," you are not lying to yourself, but reminding yourself of the deeper truth. Every time you picture yourself receiving with ease, you are tuning your energy to the reality that is already yours. Identity is not created in a single moment, it is cultivated by consistent recognition. The more you affirm it, the more you believe it. The more you believe it, the more you embody it. And when you embody it fully, money must flow because energy always manifests in form. Wealth as an identity also removes fear from the equation. Fear comes from thinking you can lose something, that your supply is fragile, that your abundance can vanish. But when wealth is who you are, it cannot be taken from you. Circumstances may change, accounts may rise and fall, but the essence remains untouched. A wealthy person is wealthy regardless of outer appearances, because their identity is rooted in something deeper than material form. From that rootedness, they can attract again, rebuild again, multiply again, because the source is never outside of them. It is always within. Carrying the identity of wealth also changes the way you interact with others. Instead of approaching from neediness, you approach from generosity. Instead of grasping for opportunities, you become the one who creates them. People feel this difference. They sense when someone is vibrating from lack and when someone is vibrating from abundance. And because like attracts like, those vibrating with abundance are naturally drawn to you, bringing with them opportunities, resources, and wealth itself. Identity sets the tone for every interaction. A wealthy identity opens doors that effort alone could never force open. The identity of wealth is not arrogance. It is not pretending to be above others. It is humility in its highest form, because it acknowledges that you are not the source of your abundance. The infinite is. And because the infinite is limitless, so are you. To see yourself as wealthy is to see yourself in alignment with the divine truth of your existence, a truth that does not waver with the world's economy or circumstances. It is the unshakable recognition that you are part of a limitless supply, and that supply expresses itself through you. There is within you a natural magnet, a silent force that has been there since the moment of your birth, a field of attraction that pulls toward you all that resonates with your inner state. This magnet is not created through effort, it is revealed through release. When you let go of doubt, fear, guilt, and the old stories of lack that have wrapped themselves around your spirit, the true power of this magnet awakens. It hums quietly, steadily, calling to it the energy of money, the flow of opportunities, the resources meant for your path. The magnet of your being does not chase. It does not struggle. It simply attracts, for that is its very nature. Magnetic alignment is not about forcing life into place. It is about becoming the version of yourself that life cannot resist. When you are aligned with the vibration of wealth, money feels safe in your presence. It feels welcomed, honored, respected, and it comes to you with ease. But when your inner state is clouded by fear, when you see money as scarce or hostile, the magnet becomes distorted, and instead of pulling, it pushes away. Energy always responds to your vibration, not your words. You may say you want abundance, but if your inner field hums with anxiety, the magnet repels the very thing you claim to seek. Alignment is the key that tunes your magnet to the frequency of flow. Consider how a compass always points north. It does not struggle, it does not wonder, it simply aligns with the magnetic field of the earth. In the same way, when your inner compass is cleared of distortion, it naturally points toward abundance. You do not have to force the direction. You only have to remove what blocks the needle from moving freely. Doubt is such a block. Fear is such a block. Guilt over money, shame around desiring it, or resentment toward those who have it. All these create static in your field. When you release them, even little by little, the compass steadies itself, and your magnet hums again in perfect clarity. The power of magnetic alignment is that it operates without effort. Just as flowers attract bees without calling, without striving, without moving, you too attract wealth when you radiate the frequency of openness and worthiness. Bees come because the flower is aligned with its nature. Money comes because you are aligned with yours. It is not about chasing wealth, but about embodying the qualities that wealth is drawn to. Abundance is drawn to gratitude, to joy, to certainty, to peace. It is repelled by desperation, by self-hatred, by fear. The magnet is always active, but it is your responsibility to decide whether it pulls or pushes. You can feel when you are aligned. It is a sense of ease in your body, a knowing that does not require proof. You stop questioning whether money will come and begin to trust that it cannot stay away. In that trust, small synchronicities appear. A conversation leads to an opportunity, a door opens unexpectedly, a gift arrives when you least expect it. These are the signs of the magnet at work, subtle at first, but undeniable as they grow. And the more you notice them, the stronger your alignment becomes. Awareness strengthens attraction, for what you acknowledge multiplies. Magnetic alignment also shifts how others perceive you. People are drawn to those who radiate abundance, not because of external displays of wealth, but because of the energy of sufficiency that surrounds them. When you are aligned, others feel more at ease in your presence, more inspired, more willing to support and collaborate. Your magnet does not just attract money, it attracts people, opportunities, and experiences that all carry the vibration of wealth. The right partnerships emerge, the right ideas take root, and the right timing unfolds. Life organizes itself around your inner field. Think of how metal filings dance toward a magnet on a table. They rearrange themselves instantly, aligning with the unseen force. Money and opportunities behave the same way. When your magnet is clear, life's circumstances rearrange themselves to flow toward you. What seemed stuck suddenly moves. What seemed impossible suddenly becomes effortless. The filings do not resist, they cannot. The magnet is too strong, too natural. In the same way, when your energy is aligned, money cannot resist. It does not question whether it should come. It simply obeys the law of attraction. This magnetic power is amplified by your emotions. Joy strengthens it, gratitude polishes it, love expands it. Every time you dwell in appreciation, your magnet grows brighter, and money feels the pull more strongly. Every time you dwell in fear, your magnet dims, and the flow slows. This is why your inner state matters far more than your outer action. You can work tirelessly, but if your magnet is misaligned, the results will be small. Yet a single inspired act from alignment can open a floodgate of abundance. It is not the size of your effort, but the purity of your magnet that determines the flow. Magnetic alignment does not mean perfection. It does not require that you never feel fear again or never doubt again. It means that you return, again and again, to the state of openness, to the state of trust, to the vibration of wealth. It means you catch yourself when your thoughts drift into lack and gently bring them back to sufficiency. It means you notice when guilt or shame rises and choose to release it rather than cling to it. Each return polishes the magnet, strengthening its pull, brightening its signal, deepening its alignment with abundance. And as you keep returning, money keeps flowing, drawn as surely as metal filings to the force it cannot resist. There is a command more powerful than words, a decree that requires no voice, no sound, no outward declaration, and yet it speaks louder than any phrase you could ever utter. It is the silent command, the vibration you carry within you that calls money forth without effort. Most people believe they must beg, chant, affirm endlessly, or declare their worth over and over again. But the universe does not respond to repetition alone, it responds to the vibration beneath the words. And when your inner being hums with certainty, when your silent command radiates with authority, money comes because it recognizes the resonance of truth. The silent command is not spoken from the mouth, but from the soul, not heard by the ears, but by the fabric of reality itself. This command is born not from striving, but from being. It rises when you step fully into the knowing of who you are. You do not need to convince the universe to bless you. The blessing is already written. The silent command is the signal that you have stopped doubting this truth, that you have surrendered the noise of fear and tuned into the deep certainty of supply. It is the unshakable energy that says, without saying, I am ready, I am worthy, I am already wealthy. You do not need to shout it, for silence is more powerful than sound when silence is filled with certainty. The tree does not cry out to bear fruit, yet fruit comes. The sun does not announce its rising, yet all the earth knows. In the same way, your energy does not need words to command abundance. It needs only to align with the truth of sufficiency. The silent command is always active, whether you are aware of it or not. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you allow, every belief you hold becomes part of that unspoken decree. When you live in fear of lack, your silent command tells money, stay away. When you live in gratitude and sufficiency, your silent command says, come closer. The universe is not confused. It responds to vibration with perfect accuracy. And so the work is not to speak more, but to speak less, to clear away the noise, to let the quiet hum of truth be the dominant signal. When your inner being is calm and assured, your silent command is clear, and abundance flows as naturally as water downhill. Consider the way a tuning fork works. Strike one fork, and another nearby begins to vibrate without being touched. No words are exchanged, no commands are spoken, yet resonance is established. The silent command functions the same way. When you vibrate at the frequency of wealth, money begins to move toward you without being summoned. It feels the resonance, and it cannot resist aligning with it. This is why those who carry true abundance in their energy never need to prove it. Their silence speaks louder than speech. Their presence speaks louder than any declaration. Money comes not because they beg for it, but because they embody the frequency it cannot ignore. The silent command is also an act of surrender. It is the willingness to release the need to prove, the need to push, the need to perform. You realize that effortful words often come from fear, from the belief that unless you repeat enough times, the universe will not hear you. But silence arises from trust. Trust that the universe has always heard you. Trust that the supply has already been given. Trust that wealth is already woven into your destiny. When you release the noise, you step into the posture of one who knows. And in that knowing, money flows, because energy always aligns with certainty. There is power in quieting the mind long enough to feel the silent command rising from within. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and sense the vibration beneath the surface of thought. There is a place inside you where no fear dwells, no doubt survives, no lack exists. In that place, the silent command is already alive, already declaring abundance, already summoning wealth. You do not need to create it, you only need to notice it. Every moment you sit in stillness, the command grows stronger. Every moment you choose trust over fear, the command sharpens. And the clearer it becomes, the more effortlessly money flows toward you. People may not hear your silent command, but they feel it. They sense it in your presence, in the way you carry yourself, in the calm assurance that radiates from you. Without a word, you communicate, "I am abundant," and the world responds in kind. Opportunities open, support appears, doors swing wide, because energy aligns with energy. The silent command is not for the ears of others, but for the structure of reality itself, and reality reshapes itself around the vibration you hold. Your life becomes evidence of what your silence has declared. The most mysterious aspect of the silent command is its invisibility. To the outside world, it may appear as though nothing is happening. They may see you sitting in stillness, doing nothing, saying nothing. Yet beneath the surface, the vibration is echoing, calling, rearranging circumstances, drawing resources, magnetizing wealth. This is why stillness is never truly still. It is alive with movement the eye cannot see, alive with the orchestration of unseen forces aligning to bring you what you have silently commanded. The visible follows the invisible, and your silence carries more power than 1,000 shouted affirmations when that silence is filled with knowing. The silent command is not something you practice once and forget. It is a state you live in, a posture of the soul. Every day, you choose to either fill your silence with fear or with faith, with lack or with sufficiency. The choice shapes your vibration, and your vibration shapes your reality. Money flows not to the one who shouts the loudest, but to the one who vibrates the clearest. And clarity is born in the quiet, in the stillness, in the silent command that requires no words yet speaks with undeniable power.